the importance of Indian Medical Association case against VP Shantha?
Yeah. In the case Indian Medical Association versus VP Shantha, it is a historical case in the Indian history of medical practice. Now, the case is related to 1996, but it started in 90s, where from my lecture you can find out in 1986 Consumer Protection Act was enacted and applied to all the manufacturers and service providers. This happened after that. Now, in this case, there were some consumer court which took a decision that because the patient is paying consideration to the hospital, it comes under Consumer Protection Act. There are some court which decided, no, medical professionals cannot be brought under Consumer Protection Act. Some high courts has decided it should not be taken under the control of Consumer Protection Act. First of all, please understand what is the difference a case decided between the Consumer Protection Court cases and the ordinary civil court. What is the difference between the two? Listen to me very carefully. If a patient is going and approaching the consumer court, it is constituted by the Consumer Protection Act. He has to pay only a small fee. Up to 5 lakhs, 200 rupees. Up to 10 lakhs, 400 rupees. Up to 20 lakhs, 500 rupees. Now, if the same patient is going to a civil court as a petitioner, he has to pay stamp duty, normally a fixed amount plus court fees, which will come nearly 7% of the claimable amount. So, it is easier to go to the consumer court. Now, before this case was decided, a patient will go to consumer court as well as sometimes to the civil court. The Honorable High Court Madras has decided the service offered by the doctor is not coming under the Consumer Protection Act, but other services relating to medical practice is coming under Consumer Protection Act. So, there is a difference of opinion among the high courts in India. Then VP Shantha filed a complaint against an hospital in Hyderabad because her husband suffered a lot in an hospital. According to her, there was a deficiency of service. She went to the consumer forum, not to the civil court, because fees is less. And consumer forum decided, yes, because he is paying fees, it comes under contract. So, it is within the wall of law, four corners of law, she is correct and she approached and we are giving a judgment. But against that, the Indian Medical Association approached the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Please decide the decision given by this consumer fora, state consumer fora, is not correct. Our services are genuine, it is gratuitous service, it should not be brought under Consumer Protection Act. And they engaged high profile lawyers before the Supreme Court of India. Whereas VP Shantha, an ordinary woman in Hyderabad, she was represented an ordinary advocate. The Supreme Court studied carefully about the pros and cons, and they decided that the doctors and doctor services, if they are receiving professional fees, they are brought under the purview of Consumer Protection Act. If they are not receiving the fees, I am having an hospital, there is a Puttaparthi hospital in Karnataka, where there is no fees at all to any consumers. If that is the case, if there is any problem, they cannot come to the consumer fora. They have to go to the civil court for getting award or compensation, etc. Now, make it very clear, this VP Shantha case is the first case where the Supreme Court brought the medical services under the purview of Consumer Protection Act, and because of that only there are numerous cases. As I told you, coming to a civil court costs time and money lot. Nearly 10% you have to pay while filing the complaint itself. If it is a consumer fora, it is dead cheap. Number two, in the consumer fora, even consumer can argue the case. You need not employ a lawyer for that. So, in many cases, many areas, consumer fora is very simple, easy, good solution, and they are consumer friendly and patient friendly. Whereas civil court will go by civil procedure code, where the petitioner has to prove the case, which is very difficult. Now you understand it?